grabbed some data and dug into it. I also got tired of using that virtual machine. So, well, hold on a second, let me just make sure I'm in the right spot. And then we'll adjust the font here in a second. Okay, so now to be able to do like an Apple Plus. Hold on, almost there. Shoot. Okay, can you see that? Actually, that's not too bad, right? Okay, so all I want to do, and this is pretty much stream of consciousness, right? I mean, I will confess I did some stupid stuff and I got rid of them. But this is pretty close to the path that I took going through this thing. Also, I am not afraid to confess that I am not a Pandas whiz. Like, I know Pandas whizzes and I am not one. So what did I do? I sat on my couch with my laptop and I Googled Pandas, blah, 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 a lot, and landed on Stack Overflow, right? So that's what you guys should do too. So here's what I want to do is just kind of say, here's the way I think when I look at these things. So I'm going to import, it turns out that I guess that's Baltimore Police Department Part 1 Victim-Based Crime Data CSV. So I just grabbed that CSV, it's on the Baltimore Open website. Now, here's one thing that's super useful to do. Look at the extreme ends of the data because odd things tend to lurk there. So what I mean is, so the very first thing I did was I said, okay, I am going to look, I'm going to do data frame. So notice I did data frame equals pd.read CSV, and I did df head 50. So I said, let me look at the first 50 instances. The next thing I did, and let's come back up and look at those in a second. The next thing I did was to look at the last 50 instances. Because you will see all kinds of weird stuff that happens. Even just looking at them in the order in which they were entered, sometimes people will just change the way they enter stuff or the way they're doing things from the beginning of the data to the end, and it's good to catch that. And I didn't see so much of that here, but I will say, so can you guys just look at this? There are, when I look at this, I see 3 things that are disturbing to me. Do you want to pick one of them?
Differently formatted time from OneDrive?
Yeah, that sucks, right? So what's up with that? So here's the deal. We've got the crime date and the crime time, right? So look, first of all, I don't know how they're getting the crime times down to the second, and I can't remember if I ever saw anything that was not 0, but that seems crazy. So it looks like hours, minutes, seconds, and then you've got this thing, right? So what is that? Okay, so that's a problem. So for example, if you're doing anything with this data set, excuse me, and you're paying attention to times, you got to go in and deal with that at some point, right? So you know, mental note, okay, that sucks, we'll deal with that. What else do you see that's?
Inside, outside.
Yeah, that sucks. It's like, okay, stop, right? You've got inside, outside, and I guess these are, you know, did the crime occur indoors or outdoors, which is kind of interesting. Turns out, okay, look, so obviously they're not like coding that stuff consistently. There's one other thing.
Weapon's not a number.
Where do you see the NaN? Ah, excellent, right. What is an NaN? Not a number, right? So, now, hold on. So that is actually due to Pandas. So it's very important to know that what Pandas does is it goes in and says, all right, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with these data sets, and if you see NaN, it is almost always because that's the Pandas equivalent of nil or none or empty or null, right? So I do not put that on. I almost can guarantee you, I didn't look, I should have looked, but I can almost guarantee you that if we looked at the raw data, there are no NaNs in there.
Yeah, they're blank.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. That would be bizarre. Okay, so then I'm sort of looking at these things, right? Can you guys, okay, so then the next thing I do, again, and literally as I'm sitting there looking at this thing, I'm like, okay, what are these crime codes, right? You guys got any idea what the, any insight into what the crime code looks like? Do you think there's any structure in there? What's that? Yeah, so it looks like 4s might be aggravated assaults, right? There's some other ones in here that are interesting. 3CO, there's a robbery commercial. I don't know if 3s are robberies, right? So it looks like 3s are robberies. So it looks like there's some structure in there, and I think that's good to know. The other thing that I tend to do is look and say, okay, like how many distinct values do I think they're going to be? This looks like street addresses, which is going to be a nightmare, right? So, you know, you're not going to use that as a feature in the decision tree, right? For exactly the same reason we saw before. This, like this crime, what is this, the description? Despite the fact that it says description, it looks like it might be from a fairly small number of elements, right? So that might be useful. The inside-outside thing is cool. We've got firearm, hands, knife, right? So that looks interesting. The post, actually, I don't know what that is. I think. So one thing I think about this data, about the Baltimore Open data, is they don't give you a lot of metadata. They're just like, yo, here's our data. Figure it out. That might. I'm assuming the post has something to do with sort of like a police department precinct, maybe, or a station, right? That's the word I'm looking for. I actually believe that these things are integers in the data. But it looks like there's a lot of them. And then the district looks like it's sort of north, south, east, west in various combinations. The neighborhood is listed. The location looks like lat long to me or something like that. And then total incidents, I look at that and I go, okay, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. No variation, right? Here, right? And there's the end of the data. So anyway, so that's like just the first thing you do is you sit and just kind of stare at the data. Then I said, well, that applies to individual columns as well. So what you might do, so notice here, and again, if anyone's sitting out there and goes, okay, I would do it differently in Pandas, please say so, right? But here's one thing you can do is you can say, all right, what I'd like to do is I'd like to pull out the crime date column. And I can't remember, I think we probably looked at doing that. We've got this data frame. I can index it and say I'm interested in the crime date column. And then I can say I would like the unique values, so I can apply the function unique to it. It'll pull out all the unique values. And then all I did was I sorted that, and I said, show me the first 10. Right? Now I think it's not going to be surprising in this case. But look, this says, oh, it looks like the data goes back to 2011, right? So we've got January 1st of 2011 through 2016. We've got January 2nd. And it looks like then it goes through 12/30, 12/31. Fortunately, we don't have 12/31 of 2016 because that would be surprising, right? Then we can look at the crime time, and here we see in spades the problem that we saw before, right? If we take the crime times and we sort them and unique them, right, we get all of these formats here, and then at the end we have these formats, and then we got this guy sitting right here. So what do you think, right? So that's a problem with the different data formats. Now, like I look at that, like what do you guys think this is? I mean, what do you think that's suggesting? 4 minutes past midnight, right? So I'm thinking, okay, probably some people, oh look, no, they do have seconds, right? Look, right, 23:57 and 31 seconds a crime occurred. And I don't know, maybe it's when it was, I have no idea when it was called in, right? So I go, okay, my first inclination is, all right, let me bust it, I'm gonna write some code to sort of clean this all up in place. But the first thing is, I think it's very useful to just look and see, are all the strings of like the same length, right? Like just 2 different lengths. And so, can somebody explain to me, and this might require, and I don't know if you know Lambda. Do you guys know Lambda functions? No? Okay, let's talk about Lambda. We'll talk about Lambda functions in a second. So can someone who's a Python expert-ish explain how that works? I can do it. If.
I heard it's they had 331. They did it, and not in Python, but I think it was Ada. Might have had
Oh,
something
okay.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much, it's like it just applies.
It what?
Applies the.
Yeah. Let's do
X
this.
squared being applied to like a set, which is 1, 2, 3, then it becomes 1, 4, 9.
Right. So let's